Hi everybody, this is Ospreyeye from mychartcoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at some of the ticker symbols that were in play today. Let's see here. First up we've got uh, DXTR. Okay, so this was really nice follow through for DXTR today. If you look down here, you'll see that it had a bullish close above the middle Bollinger Band on Friday. So that's the dotted purple line at 0.262. So we were looking for follow through today. We want to see that level turn into support. That would signal a possible new uptrend starting. And then today there was a nice close above the closing price on July 11th, which was at 29. So that was a really nice move. It did close above the upper Bollinger Band, which is basically at 30 cents. And so sometimes when that happens, the candles do work back into the bands. If you look back here, there was a close above the upper Bollinger Band, and then it pulled back in briefly, a close above, and then it pulled back in briefly. So the odds are that you could see the candles pull back into the bands a little bit tomorrow just to test the upper Bollinger Band. But there is also potential for a test of this high close over here on June the 20. What is this? June the 27th. That's going to be the next key level to break. If DXTR can get out and close above the closing price on that level at basically 35.5 or 34.5, then that should signal a breakout higher. You could possibly see it hit that level tomorrow and find resistance. The bottom line is, as long as this middle Bollinger Band is holding, that'll signal that the new uptrend is intact. That's what's important. If there's a pullback, that's the level you want to see hold. As long as the middle Bollinger Band's holding, the uptrend is intact and there should be more upside potential. If it drops back down below that level, that would signal downside risk. Notice that the 50-day simple moving average is at 25, so that's providing big support, that 25 to 26 support zone. So after consolidating sideways for quite some time, and then it formed this descending resistance, this descending triangle pattern here, and then it broke out of that pattern on Friday. So you notice how the share price was heading down, and then the close above the red descending resistance line was signaling more upside potential. So yeah, so that was the big break above resistance on Friday, and so now this looks like a new uptrend could be starting. If you look down here, there was really nice volume behind the move, so volume has been increasing. This is on a 4-day run, so the run could you could see a pause. You know how many green volume bars they're going to be in a row. You see MACD had a bullish crossover on both time frames, and notice that MACD is just getting started. So this is all signaling the possible start of a new uptrend, along with the parabolic SAR bullish flip. So going forward, if it can break above this 34.5 level, that's going to signal a breakout higher. If it hits that level and pulls back, you could possibly see the EMA 4 tested at 28. Notice that FASTO did close at 96, basically 97, and FASTO is maxed at 100. But if you look here, RSI, it's only at 61, and RSI isn't overbought till 70. So there still is gas in the tank to push to that 34, 35 level before hitting that 70 on RSI. Okay, let's take a look at RNVA. Okay, that had a nice move today as well. Notice you've got RSI above 50, so currently at 52. That was the first close above 50 on RSI since all the way back here in what is that, March. So all the way back in the first week of March. So you're looking second week of March. So you're looking at a very bullish development here with FASTO breaking above 50. You got this big bounce, plus DI bouncing off of minus DI. And so today the bullish development was the close above the middle Bollinger Band. That's the dotted purple line currently at 34. So we want to see that level turn into support. If you look back here, the last close above that level was back here on July 10th. It tried to turn the level into support, and it pulled back. It broke that level briefly on the 24th of July, but failed to hold, and it dropped all the way back down here below 30. And then today it finally closed back above the middle Bollinger Band. So if you look back here in June, it attempted to turn the middle Bollinger Band into support and failed. So that's 1, 2. Is this third time going to be the charm? That's what it's setting up to look like here. Like this third time above the middle Bollinger Band could be the signal that it finally wants to break out higher. And now for us, there's one one level, and the reason why I don't have the horizontal resistance lines on this chart right now is because there's only one level that matters on this chart currently, and that's the 50-day simple moving average at 37. That's this green line here. A close above that level would be very bullish. If it can turn that level into support, you could potentially see a run up to the 100-day simple moving average at 75. You would need to break high close resistance here on June the 27th. But going forward, candles forming above the 50-day simple moving average signal more upside potential. Fail to break that level, and it could signal more consolidation. If you look down here at the volume bars, there was a nice 2-week high in volume. So what you want to see tomorrow is you want to see a bigger volume spike and a push and close above resistance. If you look down here on MACD, you'll see that you've got these crossovers starting on both time frames. And notice MACD had been pinched for a long time. So this chart's really been setting up, and it looks like it's ready to go. Okay, let's take a look at CYTR. Okay, this stock formed a bullish one white soldier reversal pattern today. If you look here, this is the pattern. This pattern forms when today's open was above Friday's close, and the close today was above the open on Friday. And so this creates bullish one white soldier. You could go back and read about that. And this is a good reversal pattern. This is a strong bounce play. What we need to see now is a close above the 300-day simple moving average at 71. A close above that level is going to signal more upside potential, and you could see a run up here to the upper Bollinger Band at 87. Testing this high close here at 82. Notice the close also here. So 82 is going to be a big level. But yeah, you could see a run from 71 to 82 if it can get above the 300-day simple moving average. Fail to close above the 300-day simple moving average will signal that the share price isn't ready to head higher and could signal possible downside risk, potential gap fill. Notice there is an unfilled gap down here, down to about 59. If the share price drops to 59, it would fill the gap. So going forward, notice how it's bouncing off the middle Bollinger Band, which is the dotted purple line, and the 50-day simple moving average, which is at 65, the green line. If you've been following our charts in TA, you know that we had alerted this setup back here last Thursday. We were signaling, we put out alerts that this was the reload level. It held the support zone on Friday, but it did close below, so we weren't sure if it was going to come down and fill this gap. Notice the close on Friday was right at the top of the gap, but today it had a nice bounce, so that was cool, but it needs to get above resistance. You've got EMA 13, EMA 4, EMA 8, and the 300-day simple moving average all converging between 69 and 71. So the candles are at what we call a flex point here. Either resistance is going to break, and that's going to signal upside potential, or support is going to break, and that's going to signal gap fill. So yeah, this is a nice play today, but the bulls aren't out of the woods yet. You need bullish reversal confirmation and the close above that 300-day simple moving average to signal more upside potential. Okay, if you look here at RSI, it just broke it back above 50. So at 51, it's got a lot of room to run until the 70 overbought level, and then you've got a bullish crossover today on Fasto. Notice how it was below 20, now it's above 20, and you had the crossover. So those are all signs that the chart is heating up, and it could signal the potential run is getting ready to start. But the big thing is going to be bullish reversal confirmation and a close above resistance. Okay, so let's look at BONT. Okay, this was a nice move today. Notice RSI is at 57, so there's still room to run. You want to see Fasto get above 50. Okay, it had the crossover that we were just talking about. And then if you look down here at the chart, it came down and it held just like the last chart we were looking at for CYTR. Notice how the share price was at the upper Bollinger Band. It came all the way down and it held the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-day simple moving average and bounced. And then it came back and it held the middle Bollinger Band again and bounced off that level. We were looking for a close above the August 2nd close. That happened today. That should be signaling more upside potential. So now the big level to break on this chart is this closing price on July the 21st. Okay, so if there's a close above 80, that should signal that BONT is ready to head higher and potentially test that dollar land 1.00 level. If it comes up and it fails to break 80, that's signaling the top of this current channel, and it could pull back and test that middle Bollinger Band. Going forward, it needs to hold that middle Bollinger Band to stay in play. Now with the middle Bollinger Band pretty far away from the 50-day simple moving average, there's going to be downside risk if it breaks. You could see a drop all the way down to the 50-day simple moving average, and going forward, that's the big level to hold. If candles are forming above that level, that's going to be bullish. If they drop below, you could see a big, it could pull all the way back down to 40 and test that lower Bollinger Band. So it is the must-hold level. Notice that it held in July, and then it held held again in August. So it's been monster support, just needs to break 80 resistance zone to head higher. If you look down here at MACD, you can see it's starting a bullish crossover on both time frames. So this is signaling potentially that the chart is heating back up. It just needs to hold support and break resistance to head higher. Okay, and then so one more stock to take a look at on this in this video is going to be INPX. It's back above 30 here. We want to see RSI get above 50. There was a bullish crossover here on ADX with plus DI crossing ADX to the upside. Bulls, you want to see that green line cross the red line to the upside. That would be a signal the bulls are taking control. Okay, so this has been in a nasty downtrend. Okay, notice the back here in the beginning of June, the candles were above this dotted purple line at 67, which is the middle Bollinger Band. But then when you had a close below here, back on, what was that, June the 12th, that was signaling downside risk. And notice this huge downtrend started. So this has been on basically a 3-month downtrend. And it's been failing to break the middle Bollinger Band. There hasn't been a close above the middle Bollinger Band since back there, like I just showed you in the beginning of June. And so what we're looking for potentially tomorrow is a close above the middle Bollinger Band at 67. If that happens, it's going to be a huge bullish change in trend. That could be putting the bottom of the gap on deck, which is here currently at about 81. And then you've got the current high close, which is the 17th of July. If it can get above that level, then you could be talking about a potential gap fill and a run up to the 50-day simple moving average at 110. Notice there's a gap on the chart. This is the top of the gap. This is the bottom of the gap. Started filling it a little bit, but it pulled all the way back down. And so going forward, if it fails to break the middle Bollinger Band, it will signal more downside risk, and you can see this nasty downtrend continue. And so it will be a risk to hold and trade. But if it can close above that middle Bollinger Band, that's going to be the signal that it could possibly run up here into the 80s and test that bottom of the gap level. Okay, so keep an eye on INPX. Notice that there was a volume spike today. It was the largest volume day in the last 2 weeks, and there was a bullish crossover. Basically it was not a crossover, but MACD was pinched, and now you've got the MACD line pulling away from the signal line. Okay, thank you very much for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, check us out at mychartcoach.com and our YouTube channel at mychartcoach.com. Okay, thank you.